This NFL update sponsored by Fantasy Sports Combine. Tell you about that in just a sec. So Joe Horn had some really nasty things to say about Roger Goodell. Goodell's taken a lot of shots recently, but this is about as bad as I've seen. Take a look at what Joe Horn said. He played for Atlanta. He played for New Orleans. He's a pretty good wide receiver. I don't like that on draft day. These kids don't know that they're hugging the devil, meaning on stage on draft day when they get picked. I hate to see kids that are lost and then happy, but they really don't know what the man they're hugging will rip their throat apart. If he has an opportunity to take money from them, or there's a situation where they're guilty before they go to court, he'll rip them apart. And there's nothing no one can do about it.
Well, other than his English is not proper.
Yeah.
Joe Horn. I like my horn that I have on my phone better than that. You know, the Norwegian.
The point is, Joe Horn is saying that Roger Goodell has too much power, and that look. The biggest complaints about Roger Goodell have come from not the owners, not from fans. It's come from the players themselves, because the players feel Goodell is too hard on the players, fines them too much, too often, suspends them too much, too often, and that these suspensions and these fines are inconsistent.
He is not the commissioner of football. He is the commissioner of the owners. They hire him. I don't know why Joe Horn and the American public, and even you, if you're in that category, don't realize this goes back to the Black Sox scandal that we were just talking about. The owners didn't even have a commissioner. There's nobody
Players
running.
don't have a say in who the commissioner
and
is.
So the
owners have the say.
They hired a judge, Judge Kinshaw Mountain Landis, and said, save us from ourselves. You are now in charge of making sure the players don't cheat. That's how commissioners really started. I don't know that there was. I think there were presidents. When the AFL started, they didn't have a commissioner. They had a president, Joe
Foss.
Foss. Great catch there. He was a former World War II pilot. Did you know that?
Yes.
They didn't even have a commissioner. He ran it like a business. This is the owner's commissioner. They put him in place. They give him certain powers. They rein him in every once in a while. And the players are employees. Guess what? There is in this world people who own, and there are people. I always want to be supervisor. There's supervisor and there's labor. There's owners and there's employees. And Joe Horn needs to get with the program and realize he should go out and watch the old movie Rollerball. You know who's going to end up, you wanted to say about this, I'm going to bring in the World Cup to this. You know who's going to end up ruling the world of soccer and football? Corporations. These are going to be the Denver Ford Broncos. And you can take that to the bank, because you can see soccer teams that are what is the name of the team in New York in the Major League Soccer? What is the name of it?
Red Bull. The Red Bulls.
So then why aren't the Colorado Rapids the Benzie or whatever you...
Bozzy?
Bozzy.
Well, we are
Commerce
seeing
City Bozzy.
We are seeing more corporate logos on uniforms.
Oh, you mean like Buick on the Denver Broncos practice uniforms? You mean...
Nike swishes?
Nike, that's on the nose, as I pointed out to you. It's on the nose of the Broncos uniform.
Here's what Joe Horn needs to do.
Did you ever see that movie? Did you ever see that movie?
I didn't see Rollerball. No.
Oh, well, you should go. Don't see the remake, but see the original.
Okay, I'll do that
with James Caan.
Okay,
and it showed you it was run by. Sports was run by corporations.
As I said, the players are more vociferous when it comes to criticism of Goodell.
That's a good word for you.
So the players need to talk to their union reps. And the players need a stronger union. If they don't like the way the commissioner is elected, or they don't like the way the commissioner is acting, then they need to go through the union rep.
And you know what happens?
And they need a stronger union.
You know what? There you go. But the problem is, you have a strong union. What happens? What's the strongest union of the four major sports?
Baseball.
What happens in baseball when the union gets too strong?
There are work stoppages.
Thank you very much. So that's what you're going to get out of that.
I'm just saying,
Joe Horn,
if they don't like the way the league operates, then the union needs to be stronger and the players need to invest more in the union.
Josh in our great staff didn't put Joe Horn, railroad worker, former NFL wide receiver. Do you probably think he has some tough job now? No.
I have no idea.
Players work for 4 or 5 years. And
I guess
they
he
don't
works
have to
for a
work
cell
again.
phone company.
So, Joe Horn, yeah, I guess so. I do kind of remember him with the Saints, and that's
Yeah.
what he's probably alluding to. He wasn't there then, I think. He's been out of football for quite a while.
Yeah, 3-4
He's
years.
alluding to what happened with the New Orleans
Bountygate,
Saints. Yeah.
Hey.
Joe Horn, I don't put much. If it were Gronkowski who said this, I'd pay more attention to it.
Well, it was the nastiness of the
If it
phraseology
were-
that everybody noticed. That's why
Yeah,
people
he's
are
a
giving
devil.
this
He is a
some
commissioner of
legitimacy.
football. David Stern got booed every time he showed up. It's Gary Bettman. You think he's the devil? Hang out with Gary Bettman for a while. He's not a devil. He's just incompetent.
That NFL update was sponsored by the Fantasy Sports
Quote me.
Combine. Listen to this. This is really neat. You got to consider this, okay? If you play fantasy football, the Fantasy Sports Combine, it's the ultimate experience for serious fantasy football players, especially if you got a lot of dough at stake. It's being held this summer at the Wynn in Las Vegas, July 17th to the 19th. That's a Friday through a Sunday. And if you go there, you're going to be rubbing shoulders with guys like Adam Schefter of ESPN, Matthew Berry, the fantasy guru from ESPN, wide receiver Brandon Marshall, coaches Mike Shanahan and Mike Ditka. They're going to help you understand how and why you should be drafting who you draft for your fantasy football league. You can get an edge in your fantasy league. Get your tickets today at fantasysportscombine.com. Again, that's fantasysportscombine.com.